Hi, this is Erling.
And this is Judy with Travel Trail Sail.
Hey, we know there's a lot of videos on the internet about campground etiquette. And to be honest, I never thought we would do a campground etiquette video. But today we decided we'd share our top 5 things that we've come across that maybe are a little bit irritating. We've been camping for over 10 years. We've seen this beautiful country, wonderful people, beautiful campgrounds. 99% of our experiences have been positive. But every once in a while, you come across something that you say, well, maybe they should have done things a little different.
That's right.
So here's our top 5 things that we've encountered that we found a little frustrating in the campground.
The first one was when we were camping at Camp Hatteras in North Carolina. And our neighbor had the flag displayed on a like one of those PVC poles, which is great.
Yep.
And he was following proper flag etiquette and lighting the flag at night.
Which is great. That's what you're supposed to do.
We love to see that. However, it was a floodlight, and the light was directed right at our bedroom window. So at night, it was incredibly bright in our bedroom, and it made it kind of hard to sleep.
We tried to hang a blanket over the window because the shade wasn't thick enough, and so yeah, we love lights out at night. Hang fun awning lights. But if you're going to use a spotlight or a floodlight, just be aware of where it's pointing.
Yes, indeed.
All right, number 2 on our list is campfires. We love them. What could be better than hanging out with your friends around the campground, having a campfire, telling stories, telling jokes, maybe even making a s'more? It's great. We love having a campfire. I think twice we've seen somebody build a campfire that's a little too big. And one instance we want to share with you is the people next to us had a campfire so big, literally it was a log. I am talking a log that big around and maybe 20 feet long, and they had dragged it so that one end of it was over the fire pit. That was not going to burn, at least not safely, right? And their kids would go around scooping up leaves. It was fall, and there was all these dry leaves, throwing them on the fire so that sparks went everywhere.
That's right. I mean, it's like sparks were flying everywhere. I mean, it was a huge fire. Very, very unsafe.
So if you're going to have a campfire, no problem. We love them too. Just keep them in the fire pit, okay?
Yes, and under control.
Absolutely.
Our third item is when campers arrive super late to a campground. Now, we have arrived after dark to campgrounds, sometimes because we've gotten stuck in traffic or we just misjudged how long it was going to take us to get to the campground.
Right, yeah.
So we have gotten to campgrounds maybe around 9, 10 o'clock at night. But when that happened, we were very careful to be as quiet as possible and just do the minimal amount that we would have to do to set up the camper, and then just leave the rest for the morning.
I don't even like bringing the stabilizers down after dark. When you're cranking on, if you have the hand crank kind of stabilizers, they're a little bit noisy, and I just feel like I'm irritating the whole campground if I lower them. So electric, water, get the basics going, and leave the rest for morning.
And just be aware of how much noise you're making, because at night, when it's quiet, it's amazing how much sound travels in a campground.
Yeah.
So our neighbors arrived at the campground about 1 a.m. And proceeded to set up their whole camper, the whole shebang, right? And they were slamming doors and slamming the doors to their storage, and it went on and on, like
a very long time of they must have slammed their entry door and their storage doors. And those doors do close a little loud, but this was a very loud close, at least 30 times of opening and closing doors.
Opening and closing doors, and it woke us up, and then we couldn't go back to sleep, and it was just really bad camping etiquette.
So as much as possible, try and arrive at a campground before dark. Sometimes it happens that you get in a little bit late, but when you do, just try and be quiet and respectful of everybody else in the campground.
And yeah, just be aware of how much noise you're making, and just assume that if you think you're being quiet, be like extra quiet, because you may be making more noise than you realize.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, number 4. Our camper has outside speakers. We could turn the radio on and we can put music outside, and that is cool. If you go to the RV shows, a lot of travel trailers and RVs now have outside speakers. Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
I like music. I like
Sure.
every kind of music, and sitting outside with a little bit of music and, a nice pleasant day doesn't get much better than that. That's why we go to the campgrounds, is to be outside, and sometimes we like to have a little music with it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. On the other hand, if I can hear your music from, say, 10 campsites away and hear it loud and clear, you might be playing your music a little loud.
Yeah. That's right.
So, just a thought, enjoy the music. You can use your outside speakers, that's what they're there for. But be aware that there are other people who are also trying to enjoy their time outside, and they may not appreciate your loud music.
That's right. And number 5 is be aware of the boundaries of your site. So if you have a lot of stuff and the sites are smaller or closer together, maybe be aware of how much space you're taking up, and try and stay within your boundaries so that your neighbor doesn't feel like, you're on top of them, because our neighbors are on top of us right now.
Now here's the thing, right? So on an RV, you need to have access to your utilities. Your water, your electric, and probably more frequently, your sewage dump. If you're at a full hookup campground, you need to be able to go up, pull those levers, and empty your tanks. That's just part of camping in a full hookup campground. So you need to have the space to access that. And if somebody sets up a tent or a structure of some sort inches away from your camper, well, that might not be the most polite thing to do.
That's right. So be aware of the boundaries of your site, and try and stay within that boundary.
And we don't normally like to call people out, but we're about to open our shades so you can see just exactly what we're experiencing today.
That's right.
Hang on, and I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit so that you can take a look. So we've got the camera raised up a little bit just to give you a better angle, and this is what we're looking at right now.
This is what we have right on top of us.
So we've got a nice rain shelter because it's raining a little bit, and underneath it, I don't know if you can see, but the folks next to us have 6 bicycles, 3 push scooters, a motor scooter, an outside kitchen, and I don't know what all else. But it's, if you see this green in the window next to us, it's inches from our slide out.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh, because when I saw this, I thought, what in the world? I mean, if you're going to have this much stuff, okay, I don't know if all of that's necessary for camping, but...
Yeah, we like having our bikes along too. It's always fun to go on a bike ride and have the stuff that you need to be able to cook outside or whatever,
Sure, absolutely, but maybe be a little bit more aware of your boundaries.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge stickler if somebody walks through your campsite. I get it. Some people are really frustrated by that, but please, 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 don't set up your stuff so close that it makes it hard for the person next to you to do the basics like emptying their sewer dump or doing the other things that they may need to do outside.
That's right. Or just, it kind of makes you a little bit uncomfortable feeling like someone is right there by your window,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
A little space is good.
So, the campsites, especially in private campgrounds, tend to be a little bit small. So just respect the edge of your campsite and try and stay within the boundaries, and that'll help make everybody have a better camping experience. Well, I'm sure you can relate to some of the stories that we just shared. Again, most camping is fantastic, and we really enjoy it, and there's a lot of good people out there.
Absolutely.
But if you have stories of the things you love about camping, or any stories to share about campground etiquette that maybe somebody does things that could be a little bit better, we'd sure love to hear them. You can leave comments right here on this video on YouTube, and again, if you like this video and you like the content we're creating, we sure would appreciate it if you would subscribe to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for watching and listening to us, and we hope we see you out there.
All right, hope to see you in a campground soon.
See you next time.